Hello boys and girls, and welcome to this week's maths lesson on area. Last week we focused on measurement and we looked at perimeter, and this week we're going to move on to look at area. So we're learning about measurement and we're learning about area. And to be successful by the end of the lesson today, you will be able to explain what area is, explain a real life example of where area might need to be calculated, and you'll be able to use two different strategies to work out the area of a shape. So what is area? So last week we looked at perimeter, and perimeter was the outside of a shape. And this week we're going to look at measuring the inside of the shape. So the area is the space occupied by a flat space or surface of the object. So what's inside the object? So area is measured in the number of units squared that it is measured in. So if it's measured in centimetres, then the area will be in centimetres squared. And if we're writing centimetres squared, we write a little number 2 above our m. And if the area was measured in millimetres, if the length of the sides were measured in millimetres, then the area would be measured in millimetres squared. If it was measured in metres, the area would be measured in metres squared, and so on. So let's have a look at some real life examples of when we might need to calculate the area of a shape, of a 2D shape. I wonder if you could pause the video and have some thinking time to think of your own examples. So in real life, you might need to work out the area of the shape. You might need to work out the area of a football pitch or garden to work out how much turf is needed. For example, in this image, all of this grass would have to be laid, and so they would need to work out the size of this whole area to work out how much grass to lay. And it would be the same in a garden. In this example, you might need to work out how much glass is needed for windows. So if you've got a hole in your house that's this size, how big is that hole, and what would the size of glass need to be to fill that hole? You might need to work out, in this example up here, how much carpet is needed to floor a room, or how much flooring. So you have to measure the length of the sides to then work out the area and work out how much carpet would be required. And a tiler might need to work out the area of what he's tiling. So for example, in this example, he needs to work out the size of this wall, and also needs to work out the area of these tiles to work out how many tiles he needs. So people like carpet fitters or joiners or even gardeners all need to work out the area. So those are some real life examples. So as a little starter activity, I'm just going to show you how to work out the area of some of these shapes. So in this example here, now this paper is centimetre squared paper. So that means each box is 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre. So it's centimetre squared is what we call it. So in this first shape, now the area is what's inside the shape. So the area of this first shape would be 1, 2, 3 centimetres squared. So 1, 2, 3, because there's 3 full boxes inside. So it's 3 centimetres squared. I wonder if you got that answer. So let's have some thinking time and think about this shape. What do you think the area of this shape will be? So the area of this shape is 1, 2, 3, 4 centimetres squared, because there's 4 boxes. Moving on to this shape, the bottom. So this shape, the area of this shape will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centimetres squared. 6 centimetres squared, because there's 6 full boxes. This shape up here, the area will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centimetres squared as well, which is interesting because the area of this long shape and this shape are the same, but they're different shapes. Let's look at this final example here. So this example, have some thinking time to work it out yourself. You can pause the video if you need to, and we'll work it out together now. So the area would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 centimetres squared, because 8 of the boxes are inside the shape. Be really careful that you're not getting confused with perimeter and thinking about the outside of the shape. This week we're focusing on area, which is the inside of the shape. So think about what is inside it. Okay, moving on. I'd like you to try this activity and pause the video and work out the area of this shape. So please pause the video and have some thinking time. Okay, so now you've had some thinking time and worked it out, let's work it out together and see if you got the same answer as me. So the area of this shape is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the area of this shape is 10 centimetres squared. Remember, my squared is just a little number 2 above the so 10 centimetres squared, because there's 10 full boxes inside this shape. So, strategy 1. If the diagram or the shape is drawn on centimetres squared paper, you can count the boxes inside the shape to work out the total area of the shape. So to be successful for method 1, you count the boxes inside the shape like we just did in the examples previously, and you write the area of the shape in centimetres squared, because the sides of the shape are measured in centimetres. Okay, now moving on to strategy 2. So I'm going to show you and justify to you why this strategy works first of all, and then we'll have a few examples of using method 2. So these two shapes are exactly the same size. On this side, the boxes are drawn, it's on centimetres squared paper, and on this side, they're missed out. So this box is 1, 2, 3, 4 centimetres long, because I know that each box is 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre, and it's 2 centimetres down the way on this side. And it's a rectangle, so if it's 4 centimetres here, it's 4 centimetres here. And if it's 2 centimetres here, then it's 2 centimetres here. So this image just shows the same shape, but the lines in the middle are missing. Because if you were doing a real life example, for example, turfing your lawn, you won't have centimetres squared paper and it would take too long to do that. So instead, you might measure the sides so that you know that the top one is 4 centimetres and the side is 2 centimetres. So to work out the area using method 1 that we just practiced, we can mark the boxes if it helps us remember. So the area of this shape is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the area of this shape is 8 centimetres squared. Remember your squared, your little number 2. So moving on to strategy 2, if I look at this side, so I know, the only information I know is that this is 4 centimetres and this side's 2 centimetres. But that also means I know that this side's 2 centimetres and the bottom is 4 centimetres because it's a rectangle. So area equals length multiplied by breadth. So if I multiply the length of my rectangle, which is 4 centimetres, which I've put here, by 2 centimetres, which I've put here, 4 times 2, 2 groups of 4, 2 groups of 4 are 8. So my answer is 8. So the area of this shape is 8 centimetres squared, which is the same as what the area of using this strategy worked out. So this shows you that this strategy works. It justifies that to you. So if you're not sure about your times tables, which I think some of you might need some help with, what to do is at the back of your paper pack, there should be a multiplication square, and you can use that to help you. So look for your 4 along the top, look for your 2 at the side, find out where they meet, and that will tell you the answer. We're going to do more work on multiplication in the next couple of weeks, so don't worry about it. Okay, so let's try a couple of examples using method 2. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to have a look at this. I'd like you to pause the video and to work it out for yourself, please. So I've got my whiteboard to show you how I worked it out. So I know that the top, so the length, is 6 centimetres because I can see that on the image. The top is 6 centimetres, and I know that the breadth is 3 centimetres because the measurement given at the side on the orange rectangle is 3 centimetres. And I know to work out the area that I have to do the length times by the breadth. So that means if my length is 6, I'm doing 6 multiplied by my breadth, which is 3. 6 times 3. Now remember, times just means groups of. So if you're not sure, you could use your multiplication square, but you could also work it out. 6 groups of 3 is the same as 3 groups of 6. So if I was doing 6 groups of 3, I could draw a little diagram. So I know that's 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3, 5 groups of 3, 6 groups of 3. And I could count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So my answer is 18 centimetres squared. So 6 groups of 3, I've drawn my little groups of 3 and I've drawn it 6 times. I could also have done 3 groups of 6. There's 1 group of 6, 2 groups of 6, 3 groups of 6. 6 groups of 3 is also the same as doing 6 add 6 add 6. So it's repeated addition. It's also the same as doing 3 add 3 add 3 add 3 add 3 add 3. So you're adding 6 groups of 3, sorry. So it's up to you how you work that out, but that's some ways that might help you. So moving on to my next example, 12 multiplied by 4, because area equals length times breadth. So pause the video and have a little go yourself at working it out. Okay, so area equals length multiplied by breadth. So the length of this shape is 12 centimetres and the breadth is 4 centimetres. So if you're working out the area, you're doing area equals 12 times 4. 12 multiplied by 4. So that is 12 groups of 4. Now you could draw a little array to help you with that, or 4 groups of 12, or you could work it out using repeated addition, which I'm going to show you here. So 12 groups of 4, okay, 12 groups of 4 is the same as 4 groups of 12. So 4 groups of 12, if I do 12, add 12, add 12, add 12, I could add it all together in a chimney sum. Or I might just know that double 12 is 24, and that's double 12 again, which is 24. So if I do 24 add 24, I wonder, I'm not sure about that. So I could do a little chimney sum there to help me work it out. 24 add 24. 4 add 4 is 8. 2 add 2 is 4. So the area of the shape equals 48, oops, I can't fit it in, centimetres squared. Now, to work out your answer to your multiplication, you can use your multiplication square. You don't need to do all this bit. I'm just showing you how to do it in case you would like to do it, okay? So that's our second example of method 2. So now to look at our success criteria for today's lesson. So to be successful, you need to be able to explain what area is. So have a little think about that. So area is measuring what's inside the shape, the amount of space that the shape takes up, a 2D shape. You will be able to choose an appropriate strategy to calculate the area of a shape, and you will be able to write the area of the shape in units squared. So you will show me you can do this in your maths work this week. So for method 1, you count the boxes inside the shape first of all, and you write the area of the shape in centimetres squared. Quite a lot of the maths work focuses on method 1. If you're trying method 2, you can measure the side of each shape if the measurements are not given. If the measurements are given, you multiply the sides of the shape together to calculate the area. Now, you can use a multiplication square to help you, or you could use repeated addition, or you could draw an array. It's up to you. And you write the area of the shape in centimetres squared, or the amount of units you've measured the sides in. So your weekly tasks. So I'm just going to run through these with you. Your first task is, Your first task looks like this, and it says ppm 233 area. So your instructions are to cut out rectangles of the following sizes using card or paper, and it gives you the sizes to cut out. So get some paper, measure it out and cut it out. And you have to arrange some of your rectangles on the grid, and you're trying to cover as much of the area of this shape as possible. You're not allowed to overlap, and after that you want to write down how much of the grid is left uncovered. Once you've tried it once one way, you could rearrange all your rectangles and see if you can cover any more. That's the first task. Your second task is called different shape, same area, ppm 223a, it says up here. So different shapes can have the same area. Use the grid below to draw as many shapes as you can that have the area of 24 centimetres squared. So you need to draw as many shapes as you can on this sheets of paper, this little grid here, of shapes that have the area of 24 centimetres squared. So the inside has to cover 24 boxes. Okay? Your next task is, there is some textbook work. There is page 122 and 123, which is here. It looks like this. So please complete textbook work in your jotters. Remember how we fill out our jotters in school and follow that at home. So one number in each box. And for this, you are asked to work out the area using method 1. Be careful when it gets to here because the halves count as halves. So you'll have to put two of them together to make a whole. And you do the same on the back. That's TJ2A, page 122 and 123. Then you have some rectangular artwork. Now you have got a sheet of squared paper in your folder for you to do this. And what you need to do is make a picture using squares and rectangles and to write down their perimeter and area. So you could do this with maybe a brother or sister, or maybe your mum or dad, or you could just do it on your own. It says one player draws a square or a rectangle on squared paper, and the other player draws another square or rectangle which overlaps the first. And you're going to have different colours each, and you'll make a sort of picture that looks like this. Now, if you call each of your shapes a different letter each time, then you can write the perimeter and the area of the shapes beside your work. So you don't have to do this with a partner. You could just do it with 2 different coloured pencils, or you could work with a partner for it. It's up to you. If you would like a little bit of challenge this week, now challenge activities can be completed as well or as separate from the activities above. So you can do it instead of one of the activities above, or you can do it as well as. It's up to you. You've got the area of a rectangle rule sheet from TJ2A, and you're using the length times breadth calculation. So I'd like you to do both sides of the sheet and write your answer in your maths jotters. So boys and girls, remember, if you've got any questions, you can contact me on Teams. I'm on there on Tuesday from 10 to 11 and Thursday from 2 to 3, and I'll get back to you right away. Or if you send me a message out with that time, I will reply as soon as I see it. Or you can send me a little message through Learning Journals. It's up to you. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you get on, and I'm excited to see some of your rectangular artwork. Have a really good week and try your best. Use your growth mindset. Bye for now.